Alright, so we're doing another deck profile on Garmore. Now honestly, nothing has changed on this, but there's a few more educational things that I want to talk about in this video. And a lot of people have been requesting this deck list, because a lot of people don't want to look back on previous videos. So, guys, I don't have anything to shout out this time, but of course you can always check out No Limit Gaming, and of course Big and Collectibles and Yu-Gi-Oh! Mint down below in the description. They support this channel, and honestly I wouldn't even have half the stuff we have on this channel without those guys supporting me. So please check them out down below. So, story time. Who doesn't love a good story? So I met someone at the Yu-Gi-Oh! WCQ. Well, I posted on Facebook. I said, if you're going to the WCQ and you want to play some Vanguard on the side, hit me up. Met this person. They said that they were playing Bermuda Triangle with all the new support, because they picked up everything at the event, Grand Festival. I'm like, sure, you know what, play against new Bermuda Triangle. Now, me being the overly confident, I know what the fuck I'm doing with Garmore deck, I predicted I was going to kill on the first stride. Said person didn't believe me. Died on the first stride. Said person actually thought this was Blue Flames, and I got called incredibly terrible, because Blue Flames are quote-unquote not a good deck. Stride into Garmore, kill it on the first stride. Yeah, good times. Second game we played, it died to Garmore again. It was at 5, it died. Game 3, our first stride was Scourge Point, preceded by Gurgowet, plus 75,000 to Gurgowet, and 15k to all the regards. And that was all she wrote. And I want to make this video to make people more aware of this deck, because this is one of those decks that is extremely rogue, but if you know what the fuck you're doing when you're playing against Blaster, like, this deck beats Blaster hands down. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I'm not currently playing Gear Chronicle, because I have so many Blaster players running around my locals. We never lose that matchup. I don't give a fuck how good Blaster's game 2 or grade 2 game is. This deck is just superior. So, let's talk about how this deck works. See this? This is the best goddamn card in your deck. Better than this shitty card. This shitty card requires this. So, this isn't once per turn. It's just counter plus 1, soul plus 1. You have our card with Garmore. Check top 3 cards of your deck. And Spirit Call 1. Then GB2, reveal top 6 for each high beast. Choose a unit gets 4k. You reveal 4 high beast. This guy gets critical. We never pull off that effect. So, this is not once per turn. I repeat, this is not once per turn. So, deck profile. So many people want to change things on this. One of the things I've seen from previous deck lists and people commenting on here, like, why aren't you playing crits? I'll explain that. Crits are bad, okay? For Garmore, his limit break sucks butthole. Resolved it once a game. Filled up my entire board. Killed 7 Cs. Requires 3 Liberators, which is extremely hard, but this is all you need. To the people that are always like, hey, like, it's 4 enough? Yes, you can G-assist for it. No one cares. This card just wins you the game. Play defensively. Take damage as you need to. If you take this on 4 damage, then you're going to punish your opponent so hard. This is the card that makes your opponent's butthole hurt. Every time a unit is called from your deck, if you have Vanguard with Liberator in its card name, hi. He gains 2k and he gains the following ability. When this unit's attack hits, you can choose a card from your damage zone and unflip it. Typically, you will burn through your counterblasting with this, and this guy just lets you reset it. Now, what makes this so amazing is the grade 1, which of course we maxed out on this guy. So this guy is Unite skill. When your other unit is placed on rearguard, so if your Unite's up and you're just going to call some shit from your hand, it still triggers. You can select this unit, another unit, in the same column as this unit, give it 2k. So, every time you call, hi, 2k, 4k, 2k from his own skill, 2k from this. This thing gets outrageous. When I played the particular matchup against the new Bermuda, we have no fear. Fucking swing for 30,000. Countercharge 3, countercharge 2, you know, like, do what you need to do with these things. It's what makes this deck truly amazing. For Agleval, this card makes your grade 2 game not suck butthole. Someone's going to be like, Robbie, why are you being so aggressive in your video? Because the amount of comments that I needed to explain things here, it's a bit absurd. And yes, this is a budget player's wet dream. There are a few things in the extra deck I recommend you get, but, I mean, not so much. You can probably build this for under $100. Like, if you want extremely cheap Vanguard, go for this. There are some Garmores aren't that cheap, and pretty much everything. Coel's going to be your expensive part, because you got to get 4 of the starter. I would not touch this deck unless I had 4 Coel. So 4 Aglavol makes your grade 2 game not horrible. Your other grade 2 you're playing is 4 10Ks, also has Liberator in its card name. Some people are like, you don't need this. Yes, you do. This makes your defensive plays a lot better. If you're getting rocked by Rush, this gives you a better defensive wall. Keep that in mind. As long as you can see Garmore, you don't have to G-assist. For Garmore in your 7 Seas matchup, 10k base, extremely important. This calls out stuff. Very important. It lets you use your counterblast. Also counteracts your opponent's grade 2 game. Very important. Remember playing these for grade 1. 4 Stride Fodders, gotta kind of max it out. No real option not to. 3 Zoran. This card sucks butthole, but you gotta play it because it's gotta go into the soul. You need to make sure that every time you're spinning, the chain still continues. And when I mean spinning, you know, when you have your broken column set up, you're gaining power. So Zoran helps you get further into that. 2 of this good card. These are very cheap. Only 2 perfect shields. Don't need any more. If you have Unite up, you call this, you just send something else to the bottom, it comes back to your hand at the end of the turn. Frees up a column on Garmore, which is really nice. And 1 Kugel. This card sucks, but you gotta play it because you like to draw. You don't want to play any more than it. Now, if you're a budget player, this is going to sting a little bit because you need 4 Coel. Coel, so the amount of times that you're just over here on Super Saiyan Guy, and you're like, oh, Coel into Coel into Coel into Coel. Or, you know, Coel, catch goal, keeping up the chain, doing what we do. I've had some Coel into fucking Liberator into catch goal, like, just some stupid change you can do. Just loading up your soul for your massive soul blast. So 4 of those. Now, triggers. This is the part that no one is going to like when I have to tell you this. You have to play 8 stands. First off, as long as you have the surprise factor on your opponent, and your opponent thinks you're playing, you're not. If you're, this deck's surprise factor is if your opponent thinks you're playing criticals, then you'll catch them off guard. Stand triggers are the most valuable thing you can have in this game for this deck. Typically, you want to push your opponent to 5 ASAP. As soon as your opponent is at 5, your stand triggers with this are as deadly as you could imagine. If you hit this for 3,600 or 36,000, swing, your opponent has to waste 4 cards to guard this unless they waste a perfect shield. You had a stand trigger with this, you stand it, you go back in. Your opponent cannot handle these with stand triggers. That's why this deck is so crucially important. You do build advantages to survive through the turns. The stand trigger is not so good. However, this makes your 7 Seas matchup not suck because you can just send it into the soul, counterblast 1, call something from the top of the deck. Typically what you call from the deck's not going to be terrible. I've had a few games where we've ran into catch goals on the top. Catch goals will start a chain and go. It just really is dependent on what you need to do. Also, this is a high beast, this is a high beast. GB2, I guess, is relevant every once in a while. And of course, Gigatech for the extra draw recyclability. And of course, 4 heals. Now, you can disregard everything I've said in this video so far, and you can go play criticals. You go do you. But when you're not applying enough pressure to your opponent, then you'll wonder why. You have to be very aggressive with this deck. And I cannot stress that enough playing this. Stand triggers make the world go round. You can take out 2 Rune Bows and play 2 criticals if you want, that's fine. You can play the Angel Feather Syndrome. But I'm sticking with my stand triggers. So, 4 grade 3s is not an issue whatsoever. And I cannot stress enough that you need to be very aggro. Now, the extra deck is 15. You can't really... You can toss this in if you want, but you don't need it. It's my placeholder for the moment. But for the people that are like, is this a budget deck? Yes. If you can somehow get Coels you'll be fine. Garmores are cheap. You might have to spend a little bit of money on catch goals and stuff like that, but, I mean, you need 2 of these is fine. The problem is, if you're playing this as budget, then you're not going to have the finisher like you need. I'll explain that in a minute. So, double Garmore, we've explained this. Now, if you don't want to, if your opponent is being an asshole and damage denying you, there are plenty of other ways to play this game. Hi, my name is Scourge Point. Hi, I'm Unite. Have fun. This is a really weird scenario that you can have this be your alternate stride. Going first, just supercharge him, smash in. If your opponent's at 4 to 5 damage, they're not going to guard this, or they're going to perfect shield this because they're going to be fearful of criticals. I can't stress that enough. Big numbers with this guy, supercharging what you're calling off your columns. Yeah. Good second alternate stride. Alright, good first alternate stride. But typically Garmore, this is in rare conditions. We never make this. Budget players, you don't need this. I mean, for those of you at home that don't know, it's once per turn. Choose a face down card, name this guy, retire it. Choose a card from your hand, discard it. And this unit gets Unite. When this unit attack hits, look at the top 7 cards of your deck and call a card from among them to open rearguard. And continuous, all of your units get plus 2,000 for each Gurglet. It's just 2k across. It's not even that good. Just a resource because you have room. Now, if you're a budget player, this is going to suck because this is where you overpower your opponent. If your opponent's at 5, if you do this on your second stride after Garmore, and you have enough to load up to do this twice or even 3 times, I don't care how much your opponent has, you'll kill them. Now, these are like 40 bucks. I understand that. One of the things that makes this deck very unique, though, is its ability to finish on the second stride. And we do it with this guy. So if you're going for the budget aspect, you're going to have to try to find a way to get one of these, because I can't stress this enough. This and the next card I'm going to show are very crucial to the deck, just as finishers. You can try another Garmore and try to get lucky off of your GB too, but I wouldn't want to play without this. This is something else. So this is the second finisher of the deck. Depending on the pressure that you have to apply to your opponent, this will generally allow you to do what you need to do. Typically, you can go Garmore in your first stride. You can go into this. Typically, I'm not gonna lie, you'll usually resolve a heal or 2 somewhere along the way to just pressure your opponent and do what you need to do. Being able to call off 4 dudes off of this is so stupidly good. Also, being able to send back some stand triggers to the deck when you're in compression mode. Very, very valuable. I can't stress enough. Also, if you have a Giga Tech down there on standby, feel free to go to town with it. So, yeah, this is your second finisher. This and Gurglet typically get you to where you need to be when your opponent's pressured. 1 Sea Breeze, bro. We Sea Breezed once, and then unflipped everything with attack turn. Just what the deck does. G-Guard, you can do what you want, but 1 Prayer, 1 A Gleam, 2 Slay Me. Budget players, you need at least 2 of these. I know some of you guys aren't going to like to hear that. Being able to recycle 1 clear up an open spot for Garmore is very good. If you need to go into Garmore in your second stride. A Gleam fixes your shitty hands, and Prayer is just generic. You can fix and do what you need to do. The Elixir heal, I don't know. And, of course, there's 1 open spot, so, go to town. Play GB8. You're never going to get there. Never. If you somehow get there, you're probably going to kill yourself on deck out. Because typically by your second Garmore, you've exhausted, I think my deck's usually at like 12 or 15 at that stage. So typically what happens, you're going to just kind of have Garmore here with a really fat soul. You're going to stride. Don't feel bad to discard 2 cards to stride. It's fine. Stride into Garmore. Of course you'll have soul. And just proceed to use a skill. Typically you'll call 1 from your hand. You don't, for the grade 2 game, you got to be very careful about these, because if you call these out, your opponent's going to go after these, typically. So try to conserve these in your hand if you need to. But if there's a threat on the board, don't be afraid to do it, but making sure that you can get your counter charge is very important. If you're only going to do Garmore once or twice, that's fine. Just make sure you have an open counterblast or so for the next turn to extend your play. But can't really stress it enough. This card makes the road go round. So typically you're just going to go Garmore, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, go to town. Typically you'll have your 1 and 2 loaded in the soul. So you'll have 2 counterblasts. And of course Coel is going to trigger somewhere along the way. I've had people spin back my Coel. You the real MVP. It's just one more Coel in the deck to chain off of. It's no disadvantage if you do anything to it. I don't play more of these. Don't play more Zorons. Zoron's bad. Everything's pretty straightforward with this. I just give this a go. The only thing is I still don't like criticals. If you're gonna go crits, like I said, go the Angel Feather way. Play 2, surprise your opponent. I wouldn't play the Gurgawit crits, because you never go into the Gurgawit. You don't want to draw off of it. Yes, it's a high beast, I understand, but still. Roomba hasn't let me down. So if you guys have any comments, leave them down below. I'll try to answer them where I can. Hope this kind of helped you guys a little bit. I don't really have a super in-depth tutorial on how to play this. Just gotta be aggro and, you know, do what you need to do with the deck. The deck will reward you. 10k bases, baby. Who knew? Too good. Alright, guys. Deuce Arenas. Please check out everyone down below. Yu-Gi-Oh! Mint, Big N Collectibles, and of course, NLGTCG.com. Alright, guys. Deuces. Until later.
That's not all, card fighters. Please subscribe for more Cardfight Vanguard content. Please remember to check out mcole40 for Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, and please check out mcolegames.com, my store, along with No Limit Gaming, NLGTCG.com, for all of your guys' trading card game needs as well. Until next time, guys, remember to hit that subscribe button. Later.